Why don't you go out and have a cigarette? Burke shook his head. Coffee? I'll go get it for you, bring it back so you don't have to face the media. No, but thanks. Patu sat down in the chair next to Burke's. Let's not write it off as a defeat yet. Juries are tricky. You think you got some bastard nailed, he leaves the courthouse a free man. You're practically assured an acquittal. They bring in a guilty verdict, and the judge opts for the maximum sentence. You never can tell. I can tell, Burke said with stubborn resignation. Bardo will walk. For a time, neither said anything to break the heavy silence. Then Patu said, Today's the anniversary of the Constitution of Mexico. Burke looked up. Pardon? The Mexican Constitution. It was adopted on February 5th. I noticed it on my desk calendar this morning. Huh. Didn't say how many years ago. A couple of hundred, I guess. Huh. That conversation exhausted, they fell silent again, each lost in his thoughts. Burke was trying to figure out how he was going to handle himself the first few seconds after the verdict was read. From the start, he'd known that there would be a trial. Pinky Duvall wasn't about to plea bargain what he considered to be a shoe-in acquittal for his client. Burke had also known what the outcome of the trial would be. Now that the moment of truth was, if his prediction proved correct, approaching, he geared himself up to combat the rage he knew he would experience when he watched Bardo leave the courthouse unscathed. God help him from killing the bastard with his bare hands. A large, noisy housefly, out of season and stoned on insecticide, had somehow found its way into this small room in the Orleans Parish Courthouse, where countless other prosecutors and defendants had sweated anxiously while awaiting a jury's verdict. Desperate to escape, the fly was making suicidal little flats against the window pane. The poor, dumb fly didn't know when he was beaten. He didn't realize he only looked a fool for his vain attempts, no matter how valiant they were. Burke snuffled a self-deprecating laugh. Because he could identify with the futility of a housefly, he knew he'd hit rock bottom. When the knock came, he and Patu glanced first at each other, then toward the door, which a bailiff opened. She poked her head inside. They're back. As they moved toward the door, Patu checked the time, murmuring, Son of a gun, 10 minutes. He looked at Burke. How'd you do that? But Burke wasn't listening. His concentration was focused on the open doors of the courtroom at the end of the corridor. Spectators and media streamed through the portal with the excitement of Romans at the Colosseum, about to witness the spectacle of martyrs being devoured by lions. Kevin Stewart, husband, father, damn good cop, and best friend, had been martyred. Like many martyrs throughout history, his death was the result of betrayal. Someone Kev trusted, someone who was supposed to be on his side, furthering his cause, backing him up, had turned traitor. Another cop had tipped the bad guys that the good guys were on the way. One secret phone call from someone within the division, and Kevin Stewart's fate had been sealed. True, he'd been killed in the line of duty, but that didn't make him any less dead. He'd died needlessly. He'd died bloody. This trial was merely the mopping up. This trial was the costly and time-consuming exercise a civilized society went through to put a good face on letting a scumbag go free after ending the life of a fine man. Jury selection had taken 2 weeks. From the outset, the prosecutor had been intimidated and outsmarted by the defense attorney, the flamboyant Pinky Duvall, who had exercised all his peremptory challenges, handpicking a perfect jury for his client with hardly any argument from the opposition. The trial itself had lasted only 4 days, but its brevity was disproportionate to the interest in its outcome. There'd been no shortage of predictions. The morning following the fatal incident, the chief of police was quoted as saying, "Every officer on the force feels the loss and is taking it personally. Kevin Stewart was well respected and well liked among his fellow policemen. We're using all the resources available to us to conduct a complete and thorough investigation into the shooting death of this distinguished officer." "It should be an open and shut case," one pundit had editorialized in the Times-Picayune the day the trial commenced. "An egregious mistake on the part of the NOPD has left one of its own dead. Tragic,